talked about what a homeschool portfolio is and why you would need one.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about record keeping. Why are you going to want to do good record keeping before you ever even attempt to put together a portfolio?
The second your child does the thing, record the thing. So maybe not the second, maybe the hour, maybe at the very least the month, right? At least once a month, you should be sitting down and compiling everything your student did. So here's how I did it. Every time my children took a test, wrote a paper, anything of that nature, they emailed it to me. It wasn't done if it wasn't in my email box. I know they were my children. I know they were down home, right? But the second they did something, they emailed it to me, and I took that email and I put it in a folder with their name on it. Back in the dark ages, eventually I would go print out everything and compile it. Nowadays, Mir still likes the email idea, I think.
That's one of several options, because now you have more options for digital record keeping.
I like Google Docs.
Back in the day. Google Docs is amazing. That was actually how we tracked my oldest child's writing so well.
And that was accidental.
It was accidental, but you told him to write in that one Google Doc. And so
years ago.
Right, but once he started that Google Doc, every time he had to write something, he put it in the same Google Doc. Right. There would be a page break, there would be a title, and the new writing assignment would just go in the same place. So when we went to pull writing samples, all 4 years were all right there.
I kind of picked up on it in 11th grade. I was like, JJ, you didn't send me your writing. He's like, it's in the Google Doc. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The Google Doc. I've been writing in this Google Doc for 4 years. And I looked at it,
this is where you told me to put it.
Oh, put the new things on top. And so when we needed to pull his best writing, it was just so easy.
So having everything in one doc, or a couple of, maybe there's a doc for each subject, and you've got it all in the one drive folder. That can be a great way for electronic record keeping. And then there's always the old-fashioned way. You can keep it on paper.
I also, in addition to the emails, because I was printing things, I had IKEA cube furniture.
Yep.
The name of it keeps changing. And I had a cube box that fit into there.
Right.
And each child had a cube.
Yes.
And it held everything.
So those are some great strategies for how to do some record keeping. But why are we doing the record keeping to begin with?
So that you don't make up stuff when it comes time to put together the portfolio.
So your job is a whole lot easier, right?
Yes.
We having to go back and reconstruct what happened in any particular course, or reconstruct. Your child may suddenly discover a new hobby or interest. And in that moment, that could be, oh, that's a cute hobby or interest. And then a year down the road, oh no, they've gotten so into that. That's absolutely an entire class.
Right.
And so if you're not documenting these things along the way, now you have to play a catch-up game. And so when you help families put together portfolios, talk about the difference between a family that's got some good records and a family that's like, we're graduating our senior and we've been unschooling.
Oh, you just sent me into trauma. So the students that I have successfully helped that have unschooled, the things I had to do to recreate what they had done. And the thing is, I know it wasn't the full depth and breadth of everything that they had done. One child, for example, had somehow, he had written a little book in 8th grade. He took a class and they wrote a book. So that was a language arts, right? But he had somehow talked his way into a press credentials and was going from show to show, interviewing actors, directors, etc.
Well, he was literally being paid to write
and then he had gotten himself on the staff of reputable websites. And so to compile his language arts work, I Googled him and then printed everything he had and then separated it. And said, okay, this is this kind of writing, this is this kind of writing, this is this kind of writing.
But that was actually one of the easier ones to go back and reconstruct.
And it's so unique, and we were so lucky that he had done that.
Right. But what's the time difference? Somebody that's been working with you for 4 years, so they've got all of their proper records, or somebody who comes to you at the last minute and they have kept nothing. What's the time difference in creating that portfolio?
A full week of my life. And nobody wants to pay for 120 hours.
Right. Versus somebody who's done all of the proper planning, that takes an afternoon, a day.
8 hours, 2 days, 16 hours.
So
16 hours, do you want to pay me for 16 hours? Or do you want to pay me for 120 hours?
Or if you're doing it yourself.
And then I have your child.
Want to do 16 hours, or do you want to do 120 hours? That's why we're going to make sure that we're going to keep good records all the way through, even on things that we're not even sure if this has academic value yet, but it could. Make sure that you're keeping all of the stuff from that.
So here's an example. A kid likes to take pictures, and they're taking neat pictures, and you're going, oh, those are really cool pictures. You save those pictures in a folder. Because 3 years later, they're taking fantastic pictures. And to show that they've done photography, let's say 1 and 2, you need the evidence from when they just started hobbying.
You want to see that evolution.
And taking those pictures. And then I take it and I go, I'm seeing growth here. This is where we're going to draw the line. And here's going to be. And here is photography 1 and 2 for that child.
Yeah, same for impromptu art projects. If your child keeps a sketchbook.
We don't throw away art.
Never.
I spent a whole last year, not this year, last year, I taught an art class, and rule number 1 was we throw away
nothing. And here's, especially artistic kids, they're going to want to get rid of things that they think aren't up to their standards. And I'll tell you a secret about artists. Nothing's ever going to be up to your standards.
No, your taste is too good.
When you have an artistic eye, you are always going to be able to see things better than you can execute them for the vast majority of your life. You might eventually get to a place where you can satisfy yourself, but that's uncommon.
So you get to a place where you start believing the compliments, and you're like,
you do get to a place where you start believing the compliments. You might say, but this other person does it so much better, but you do start believing the compliments. That does happen first, but especially for kids and teen artists, they are not going to...
They're really good at garbage can basketball.
Don't let them do that. Save the artwork.
And my dad did this. My dad took all my artwork and shoved it under his bed.
Right.
And when he showed it to me at the end of every year, I was like, I've grown. Right? And so that's why you don't want to throw anything away also.
Right.
And that's why you want to save. Just pretend your child's in kindergarten every year.
Exactly.
Just save all the things, because you don't know what's going to come out as, oh, they spent 20 hours on that. And then you're going to go, they spent 120, 150 hours on that. Oh, no, they spent 200 hours on that. You won't know.
Right. So go ahead and start keeping those records early. Make sure that you've got some kind of system, whatever works for you, and so that it's all in one place, because when you go to pull all that stuff together, you're going to need it. All right.